What's up, cracks? Welcome to the world, Milan. Welcome to another great night of champions. Here we're going to discuss what has come of it. Another new defeat for Girona in the Champions. As you know, Michel's team has been competing well, especially against the top teams, but today they are mathematically out of this competition. Also, they don't have the potential prize of going to the Europa League, because with the format change, this is no longer an option, and that's another one. 1-0. A narrow defeat against a great rival. They lost 1-0 to PSG, lost 1-0 to Liverpool, and today they lose 1-0 to a Milan that doesn't scare anyone in the title race. But in scenarios like this, they still handle themselves well and acts like a big team against teams like Girona, a Milan that, with the arrival of Sergio Conceiçao, has become more practical, more robust, and it's true that they had their chances. Girona, first with Van de Beek and then with Bryan Gil, but it's a Milan that hasn't suffered too much. Let's see what that Milan has been like. Rafa Leao, Girona, 0. Well, as always, let's see what each team has come up with. Milan with Milan in goal, Theo Hernandez as left back, Gabio and Pavlovic as the centre back duo. Here the headline has been Emerson, but he only played 2 minutes. He had to withdraw. Injury delays, Turkey move, midfield shifted formations, match fell short. Frustrated or not his signing. Then, in the midfield, it was a 4-3-3, which many times turned into a 4-2-3-1. Fofana with the ball, for example, would disengage, Reinders would show up, Benacer would appear, but it wasn't the match that was expected. For example, at the Bernabeu, the good old Reinders, you all know we love him. To all the Moldinian worlds, but today hasn't been a great match for the Dutchman. These three were sharing the midfield. On the left, Rafa Leao. On the right, Yunus Musa. And up front, Morata. A Yunus Musa who has been good. He also had a shot that hit the post. Then he made a mistake of being humble. And instead of shooting, he made a back pass that no one reached. But the weakest up front, surely Alvaro Morata. Rafa Leao scored the 1-0 with a typical play of his. When he has space, he takes advantage of it. He gets into the area in just a few steps. And after 2 cuts, he hit a left-footed shot at Gazzaniga, who couldn't do anything. The Argentine goalkeeper, Michel's Girona, has come out with Gazzaniga in goal, Frances, and Blin as fullbacks. David Lopez and Krejci as the centre-back pair. I like the Czechs' performance in the match. Oriol Romeo felt a bit isolated, especially when Girona had the ball, because Angel Herrera and Van de Beek are more of attacking players than organizers. He missed there. Ivan Martin. And without the ball, it was more of a 4-4-2 with Van de Beek, who positioned himself at the same level as Abel Ruiz. Angel Herrera dropped back to the base, and Bryan Gil, who had an outstanding match, set up in a 4-4-2 for Girona. Tisankov tried in every way, but the man of the match, it was Bryan Gil, who then, in the second half, spent a little time over here on the right wing. And he hit a left-footed shot that was a spectacular goal, which was disallowed for nothing, by centimeters of his knee, which was further forward. Abel Ruiz has also played up front a bit weakly. Let's see what the match has been like. As I said, the one who tipped the balance has been Rafa Leao in a Milan that started with a lot of prominence in the first 10-15 minutes. Then you can start to see Sergio's signal was consensus, meaning he dominated. But when Girona started to take possession of the ball, Milan wasn't uncomfortable. The Milan team has been waiting for their moment, coming out on the counter. Milan has been waiting for their moment, coming out on the counter. The first chance Rafa Leao had, he passed it back. And Theo Hernandez hit the crossbar. Then, another one from Yunus Musa. Like I said, a crossed shot that we have right here. A crossed shot from Yunus Musa that just hit the crossbar. You're going to see it. This was the shot. A good match from Yunus Musa and Christian Pulisic, who was a substitute today. And then Girona started to react, having more possession and creating a very clear chance with a crazy pass that Oriol Romeo filtered to Van de Beek, who fakes it, Van de Beek, and passes Mateo David in front of him. And when he's about to shoot, he takes a weak shot with his left foot that doesn't get past. A goalkeeper you would have seen. Milan, after having 2 or 3 clear chances, Girona took the lead. It was a very even first half until a counter-attack, which was going to be a counter-attack for Girona. Abel Ruiz loses the ball. Benazer makes a pass to Rafa Leao. And this, I think Gazzaniga could have come out to close down a bit and not give Rafa Leao so much time to think. And Rafa Leao, well, with the power of movement that he has, David Lopez said, look over here and not over there. And I mean, as for going inside, what did David Lopez think? That he was going to set up his right foot. In the end, he cut back out and hit a left-footed shot up high that Gazzaniga could do little about. The match was going into halftime like this, 1-0. Michel, for example, in his locker room talk could have said, hey, they're outplaying us, hey, we're being outmatched. Because it wasn't like that. Girona had quite a bit of possession, except for the crossbar and the post from Yunus Musa. There were more chances being created than the sense of danger that Milan was transmitting. But it's true that despite those two, it was just that 1-0. Girona reacted, pushing Milan back. Milan with a lead aim to counter. Sergio Conceiçao holding Milan back, which is not a Milan that feels uncomfortable. I suppose Milan has also said, we have the 1-0 lead. Let's counter and score again to finish the game. Hey, we have the 1-0 lead, now on a counter. Let's try to get one more and kill off the game. As I was saying, this guy has had an amazing game. Bryan Gil, Calabria, will have nightmares about him because he's a very electric player who can go outside or inside. 3 minutes that they switched the flank for Tisankov. He made a great control, faced the goal, and scored an amazing goal with his left foot. Of real craziness that right away, the linesman has raised the flag, and we were left surprised. For example, in the Movistar broadcast, they were also surprised that there was a possible offside right away. And when they reviewed it, it's a shame because it was a fantastic goal, but it did seem like he was a few millimeters offside. A weak game from this guy. Theo Hernandez hasn't said much to me today. The truth is, don't know if you've opted for a more conservative approach because he has Rafa Leao ahead of him and knows the danger of Tisankov, but he has hardly appeared offensively. Theo Hernandez in today's match. Something that surprised me. Tisankov's game, Theo Hernandez would say, I'll play it safe and focus on defense. But well, I'm going to stay tucked in. I'm going to focus on defense because the danger was coming more from the left side with Bryan Gil. But well, what are we going to do? We haven't seen a great Reinders. We haven't seen a great Theo Hernandez. But Milan secures another victory to practically be among the top 8. Because as you're going to see now, Liverpool first, Barcelona second, Arsenal third, Inter fourth, Atletico de Madrid fifth, and Milan, as you can see there, sixth. So Sergio's team is focused. It looks like they're going to get in there already among the top 8. Whether you like it or not, saves you a round that is nothing, and then it gives you a good opponent. If you finish higher than these 8, you'll have a better opponent later. There it is with 15 points. Milan's next match will be against Dinamo Zagreb. If they added 18, they would at least finish among the top 4. First, I want to imagine, and then here we're going to see Girona, that the only match they have won in this Champions League was against Slavia Bratislava at home, and it's going to end up as one of the eliminated teams. Later, in other videos, we'll discuss how the standings are looking, because as you can see, here is City already. Out of the spots, they have 1 match left, but be careful. And Girona, well, they say goodbye to this Champions League against Arsenal at home, in a match where they won't be playing for anything anymore, and it will be more of a recognition and a celebration of the great year they had last season. And to say goodbye to a Champions League that we'll see when the team can return. Girona, I hope you all enjoyed the match if you watched it, and for those who didn't, well, come here and we've already informed you in the Milan world about how that Milan has been 1-0. Girona, see you in the next videos. Hello.